Boy, who's that good-looking guy over at the pool table?
Oh, Kathy, you don't want to go out with him.
Why not? They don't look like the rest of these animals.
Fantastic job on the Bikeriders, man. I feel like this is like a time capsule where we get to kind of feel the era, but the shifts throughout society during that era explored through the group, the Vandals. How did you find the book, The Bikeriders, and what was it about the book that made you want to make that into a film?
My brother showed it to me. My big brother, Ben, who's in a band called Lucero, he's always been the coolest one in the family and always had the coolest music and stuff. And I found it on the floor of his apartment and was immediately taken by it, you know. The reason I'm attracted to that book is because it's a toolkit for how to portray a subculture. You have these photographs, which are super romantic and compelling, but then you have these interviews that Danny did. And that kind of strips the veneer away. They're less romantic, they're more realistic. And you start to see how people's brains were working, why they were attracted to a group like this and a lifestyle like this. It really had everything I needed to portray a subculture.
Now, the book, The Bikeriders by Danny Lyon, he is one of the most influential documentary photographers ever. Can you talk about how the look of the book inspired the look of the film?
Yeah, I mean, every single department head got, you know, a batch of photographs. And so it was down to the amount of grease and dirt that we put under people's fingernails. You know, there was a person whose whole job was to walk around with a bag of dirt and a sock and just hit people with it. You know, we wanted these people to feel like they did on the pages of Danny's book, which was covered in grease, which was really of this place and this time. So we devoured those photographs.
Incredible. Now, this film also probably could have been called The Outsiders.
Sure.
Can you talk about how that theme jumped off the pages from the book and found its way into the film?
It was really interesting. Look, if you read the interviews, these people, they do not feel like they belong in normal society. And they're quite outspoken about their opinions of normal society. But at the same time, they kind of talk like their feelings are hurt for not being accepted by normal society. And it's like, well, wait a second. You can't have it both ways. You don't like normal society, but you're kind of bummed out that they're not accepting you. That mentality I found really interesting, and it seems to resonate today. It seems like everybody's looking for an identity. And now more than ever, I think with social media and everything else, we're all trying to say, this is who I am. And a lot of times we find out who we are by joining a group. And that can be a very powerful thing. It can also be a very dangerous thing. And in this movie, it's both.
Now, when I was sitting in the theater, when I heard those engines roar, I felt the ground rumbling. Your usage of sound is magnificent in this film, from the engines roaring, but also your use of silence. Can you talk about your usage of sound in this film?
Yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to Will Files, who I actually went to college with, who's my sound designer. You know, there is nothing quite like standing in the middle of a pack of 40 period Harley-Davidson motorcycles. It's a real thing, you know? American masculinity, for all of its pros and cons, say what you will, when you're standing in the middle of 40 bikes, you feel aggressive. And we needed to represent that in the film, in the theater experience, you know? And Will Files did an incredible job of making room for it all, because that's what I'm kind of most fascinated by. There's room for the dialogue, there's room for the music, but then there's room for these bikes. And so he's having to kind of pick and choose when to let one or the other be the star of the moment. And you have to come to a theater to experience it appropriately. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, look, phenomenal job, Jeff. Incredible film. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much.
What are you thinking back there? Right there, when you come charging in like that.
Nothing. I saw you squaring off with them guys. What do I need to think for?